only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Ask not what your country can do for you.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back
Howdy.
to another episode of For the Republic. We are your hosts, Nico and Brittany Fideli.
Mm-hmm. Somebody said something about our podcast the other day to a cashier, and they were like, "What's the name of your podcast? Because I want to give you a follow." And I said, "For the Republic," and they said, "The Republic being America?" And I said, "Yes."
Yes.
In case there was
Did you say like a Texan? Yes.
Yeehaw.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna be like
I wish we were in Texas.
I'm gonna be like that certain somebody that you now follow on TikTok that suddenly developed a Southern accent.
You say certain somebody because it's someone we used to know.
Somebody that you used to know. That's why people ask me all the time to sing at public events. You just got a taste of that.
Got a taste of that. Wow.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. Phenomenal. All right. Are you done fantasizing about people enjoying your
Being a Texan
singer?
but not country, because country's the lowest form of entertainment.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
You know, I've also heard that puns are the lowest form of comedy. Do you believe that?
Not at all.
I didn't think so.
I love puns.
All right. Well, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell icon to be notified when we drop a new episode every Sunday night here on the YouTubes while we're still here. You know, I hope one day we get... Oh, I was just saying, I hope one day we get big enough where we get banned from YouTube.
Like Steven Crowder?
Yeah, just get kicked off.
I honestly, my goal is to become Steven Crowder, where you can say anything you want and people don't care, and they just follow you anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my goal. That's why I'm like every week I say something that's more and more controversial.
Yeah, you think she's unhinged. This is her still being hinged.
I'm so hinged. There's more than 3 hinges on this door.
Is it because it's so large?
No, it's because so many things want to bust out that if you didn't have extra hinges on it, it would just poof right down.
Interesting. I never thought of the quality of the hinges as what keeps the door up.
Well, I mean, if you just like kicked in a door with 2 hinges, I think it would be harder to kick in a door with like 4 hinges.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like most people when they kick in a door, they're kicking in the handle side. They're not touching the hinges. If anything, more hinges allow it to swing open faster.
Maybe I should have more hinges and like bolt locks.
Yeah, bolt locks. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's what it is.
There you go. That'll hinge you up.
Okay.
She goes, okay. Because this
Still
conversation has gone nowhere.
0. We're on 3.
Yeah, we're on 3 minutes.
3 minutes, people, and all we've talked about is hinges on a door.
This is what happens when we take a week off.
Aren't you glad you subscribe?
Yeah, dude.
Did you ever watch like videos on what was the thing before YouTube? It was like
stupid
GodTube
videos
or something.
Oh, GodTube's a thing now.
It's still a thing?
Yeah. But that wasn't before YouTube. That was made because of YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah. But there used to be like stupid videos in E-Bomb's world.
Dude, I have no idea about any of this stuff.
And Homestar Runner, you know, my people, you're out there. Comment below if you know E-Bomb's world, if you know about stupidvideos.com, if you know about Homestar Runner. Dude, those are the days, man. Those were the days.
I don't know if I feel like I fell into a gap of like generation where I was not part of the fully technologically impaired generation, but I'm also not part of the technologically advanced generation. So I fall like right in the middle where I know how to work certain technology, but I missed all of the like weird stuff.
Technology.
I missed all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even have an iPhone until I was like 26.
Yeah, that's a problem.
No, I think I was like 20. I think I was like 24, probably.
That was a problem.
But like I didn't even
So
have
the iPhone that you had when we first got together was your first iPhone?
No. I had an iPhone. My first iPhone was an iPhone 5.
Okay, so you had an iPhone 6 Plus when we got married.
Yeah, but I had just gotten that like I think earlier that year. It was relatively new. In fact, I remember going through Sam's Club one time and my mom said to me, I was like probably 19, and my mom was like, "Why don't you ever ask for something like an iPod for Christmas?" And I was like, "An iPod? What's an iPod?" I was like 19.
Dude, I remember
And I was like, "You could put all your music in one place?" Yeah.
Dude, I was already doing that before iPods were a thing.
I never even had an MP3 player.
Yeah, dude, I would go through MP3 players like it was like freaking candy.
When iPods were relatively popular, I was still buying CDs and listening to CDs
That's crazy.
on a CD. And you remember like the handheld CD players, like the little ones?
Yeah, portable CD player.
Yeah, I would still listen to music on those when iPods were like a mainstream thing. And I was like, I'm not gonna be part of the system. Pump that garbage in another man's veins.
I had a portable MP3 player that you could record and make the CDs digital, but I never knew how to work it. Like,
yeah, I mean, like with an iPod, you could put your music on your computer, and then you could put it onto your iPod.
Yeah, but ever when I went to the digital age,
yeah.
Instead of like physical media, I was using MP3 players with SD cards.
Do you know when I started downloading music? It was in 2016 when we got married.
That's rough dude.
I was still buying CDs before that. I think it's funny because sometimes I'll still say we should get that CD, and then you'll be like album.
Well, at least like you can say that you didn't go through like the LimeWire phase and the Napster phase and the
I definitely
Pirate Bay phase.
Knew what LimeWire was, but it certainly was not because I downloaded illegal music. I had somebody else do it for me.
Nice.
I ain't going to prison.
I'm gonna be subject to them fines.
You'll never know. You'll never catch me, copper.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so good times. I definitely fall in that unfortunate category where I don't really fit into either generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would definitely say there's a lot of things that you missed because you were a little bit older than me.
Yeah.
But sad.
I would say there's a lot of things you missed too, like your growth spurt.
Oh, got him. No, yeah, I would say because like when you did like Saturday morning cartoons and stuff, you were getting the good shows. Or like
Recess.
Yeah, like when I watched all those shows, but they were not new. Like they were like reruns. Like Recess was still going on, I think, when I was a kid, but it was like
I don't remember.
Like for example, like
long.
Thundercats and like the old the Spider-Man
Yeah.
Saturday morning cartoon, like Batman.
Well, the thing that you said to me one day, you never watched Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah,
That was like a big thing on PBS. Like
Right,
we used to, my
yeah.
brother and I used to watch that.
like I
every
know who
day
Carmen
after
Sandiego
school.
is, and I played like the computer game of Carmen Sandiego, but I
bet you
never
didn't know
watched the
jingle.
show.
The Where in the World
Oh yeah, I
is
know the jingle.
Carmen Sandiego?
I didn't grow up under a rock.
I played it one day.
I know that jingle.
Oh,
We're gonna get DCMA'd or whatever it is.
why?
DMCA.
'Cause I sang it?
We keep singing songs that are like copywritten.
Oh,
No, we're not big enough to do that.
oh.
Nobody cares.
Let's sing some more songs.
We could be that YouTube channel that like plays a whole song and we'll be like, credit goes to so and so as the author, and like nobody would care.
Yeah, I always love it when people post like they'll post like a little clip of their photos
Yeah.
on Facebook, and then they'll be like, I do not own rights to this music. Like, really? No kidding. I thought you did.
Yeah. Common misconception that's not going to save you from being copyright struck. So.
I think it's really funny
Yeah.
when people do that. It just makes me laugh, and I just shake my head.
All right, what do you say? We talk about politics on this show?
Imbeciles. Ha ha ha.
What do we do on this show again? On this podcast?
I don't
It's
remember.
been 2 weeks since we've been doing it.
Yeah, It's been a long time. So we took the week off last week because it was Memorial Day,
Yeah.
and we had some family in town.
Yep. Special shout out to those who served in our military and have fallen. We owe our lives to you. You're in a debt of gratitude.
I
So-
sincerely thought you were going to shout out to the family who was visiting just so you could see
Yeah,
if they watched the
shout out.
podcast.
Shout out, fam. What up, fam?
Yeah, so we did that. And we had like a little cookout. We celebrated a few birthdays. We had a bunch of birthdays right in a row.
Yep.
So that was fun. So we had quite a bit going on last week, so we just didn't have the ability to throw together a podcast. We had 3 birthdays and then family visiting and Memorial Day. So
It was such beautiful weather, and then like it got cold.
yeah, it did get chilly again. We were like in the 80s, and then now we're back down to 60s.
Yeah. Right.
So goes New York.
Yep. So goes New York.
Yeah. Speaking of chilly,
Speaking of chili, or speaking of New York?
I was thinking both. I didn't mean like chili like the soup. I meant like chili like cold.
Like cold.
Like cold-hearted.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Speaking of people who take their hearts chilled.
We got Governor Hochul. The Assembly has passed her gun package, her legislation package for gun control. So if you recall, we talked briefly about what Governor Hochul wanted to do after the aftermath of the Buffalo shooting.
Yeah, you'll remember the podcast where I had to endure Nico pausing the video 15 times. She would be like, so here in New York, and they'd be like, pause it. Here in New York.
Yeah. But yeah, so the bill, she had 10 gun control bills that she wanted to write into law. The package was voted along party lines, passing the Senate 43-20 and in the Assembly 102-47. Not even close, dude. Not even close. But as you can imagine, Republicans are very upset about this because it literally makes no sense. These bills make no sense.
They really are stupid.
Yep. The package of bills include banning the sale and possession of semi-automatic rifles for anyone under the age of 21.
Which makes sense because I feel like the only people who have murderous intentions are people under 21.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like once you turn 21, you can't be influenced. You can't have any ill will towards anybody.
You can't have mental illness.
Can't have mental illness
after 21.
No, well, 21's a cutoff, so
Yeah.
It makes sense. I mean, legally age to drink.
That's what they should do. They should make mental illness illegal.
Yeah.
Because if they made mental illness illegal, nobody would have like psychosis or anything like
That is
that because it would be
stuff.
against the law.
That is good stuff.
Because nobody breaks the law.
Yeah, that's good. And I feel like people who want to do bad things, if they knew that it was illegal to do it, they wouldn't do it.
Right.
Like, I feel like we don't have a mental illness problem in this country. We don't have a societal problem. We just have a lack of knowledge. Like, I feel like if the criminals knew what the law was, they would probably obey them.
Right.
Dude, that is so good.
Maybe we should write some bills.
Maybe we should write some bills, man.
Da-da-da-bill, yeah, da-da-da-da. That's something about Capitol Hill.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
now I'm stuck in the middle, or
See,
I don't really remember.
that's another example where
We're gonna get
that stuff was coming out when you were a
Fan.
kid, but like I had to rewatch it. Like that was like, so like that stuff was already a thing. It was like a like the tape. We had to rewatch the tape.
Yeah.
In school.
Were you like, was Secret of NIMH still a popular thing?
No.
Really? Have you
No.
ever seen it?
I think I've seen it. But
Oh man, I used to watch that movie all the time, and it's like one of those movies that I love watching, but I also still get scared by it, even though it's just a cartoon about mice.
Yeah.
And like I used to babysit for this family that lived literally out in the middle of nowhere, and I would drive out to their house, and then after the kids would go to bed, I would usually watch a movie because they didn't have cable. So I would because I would often be there like 2 or 3 hours after the kids would go to bed, and so I would watch a movie after the kids would fall asleep. And one time I put Secret of NIMH on, and I got so scared because I was out in the middle of nowhere watching Secret of NIMH, I had to turn it off. I had to put on a happier movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways. So, banning the sale of possession semi-automatic rifles for anyone under the age of 21. Requiring anyone wanting to buy one of those rifles to receive a permit. And restricting civilian purchases of, well, actually, not and. restricting civilian purchases of bullet-resistant body armor. So, if you're a civilian if your occupation doesn't deem it necessary for you to have body armor, then you can't just buy body armor.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, it requires new guns to be equipped with micro-stamping technology, which would help law enforcement and investigators trace bullets to specific firearms.
Which is the stupidest thing ever.
That's the dumbest.
Literally
the
so
dumbest
stupid.
thing. So essentially, I feel like she wrote that, especially that last one, to make it as hard as possible to sell firearms in the state.
You know what I find interesting is that Joe Biden was like, you can't own a cannon in the U.S. Like, nobody owns a cannon. And if you wanted to fight against the government, you would need, like, F-15s or whatever planes drop bombs or something. And then now, like, they're like, starting to take away your ability to have body armor.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Right. No, yeah, I think...
Feels a little threatening.
No, it definitely...
Feeling a little threatened by the government.
It is very scary, honestly. And you may think, oh, well, what do you need body armor for? Well, I can spin the same question back at you, like, has body armor ever killed anybody? No, body armor's never killed anybody. Body armor is a defensive tool, a defensive mechanism. And
why do you need a hammer?
Like,
why do you need a screwdriver? What are your intentions with that nail gun? Can you imagine, like, if they held people like all things that can murder someone?
Yeah.
Like all things that you could murder someone with, I should say. If they held every salesperson like responsible, like they want to gun salespeople.
Yeah.
So then, like, you go into Home Depot and the cashier's just like, "What are your intentions with this hammer?"
Yeah.
And you're like household repairs. What exactly are you going to repair? Like, the hinges? I think you need screws for hinges.
With a hammer sounds suspicious.
Sus. Can you just hold on for a minute? We've got a code blue at register 1. Code blue at register 1. And, like, security starts filing out of the back room. They're like, secure the hammer.
Yeah.
Zip tie your hands together.
Dude,
you just get dragged out of Home Depot.
You got this whole thing. This whole thing played out in your head.
Yeah.
Holy cow, man. That scenario. That's crazy. That's wild. But not far-fetched, I guess. No. But speaking about, like, being...
This is how my mind works, like, literally 24/7. Just in case anyone was wondering.
There's actually a family member who was a parent of one of the students in the Texas shooting. They're going after gun manufacturers that manufactured the rifle that was being used.
Makes sense.
I don't understand, like, why, since when is this precedent be like, this is set, it's dangerous. Like, the precedent that's being set, like, going after the manufacturer of the gun, like, what, how can, I hope that, like, that can't do anything, right? Like, that can't go forward with that, because that would set such a dangerous precedent.
I don't know. I mean, like, I saw today an article from the Daily Wire saying that there's, like, a lawsuit going on in California with an Amazon employee who is he is a software engineer, and he's suing Amazon for, like, his household expenses during the lockdown for COVID. Because he said that because he had to work from home, it was his employer's responsibility to pay for part of his household bills. And Amazon requested that it be struck down, and the judge denied that request, and it's moving forward, which I find really interesting, because the government is what forced companies into doing remote work, and now the government is going to make the employers pay the employees because they got to do remote work. So you would think that something like going after the gun manufacturer would get shut down, but then you also would think something like a government that forced your employer to send you home for several months would not require you to pay. Yeah. Would not require them to pay for your expenses at home, but that's not getting shut down either. So
yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, is it unfair that the country was shut down for as long as it was? Yeah, I don't think it was fair. But I also don't think that employers have to pay for that. Like, it just sets dangerous precedent. Like,
yeah, and there's people who are going to say, well, Amazon, though, like, Jeff Bezos has like a
It's like trillions of dollars,
quadrillion dollars. And, well, like, yeah, sure. Maybe Jeff Bezos has like a quadrillion dollars and Jeff Bezos could afford to pay all of his employees' household expenses during COVID or whatever. He could probably afford to buy all their houses, but the fact of the matter is there's a lot of companies that could not afford that. And
Yeah.
those companies will start getting hit next.
And then, like, you think about, like, smaller businesses, like, smaller franchises, small mom and pop shops. If they don't have enough, like, work for laborers and they
Right.
just lay off people every once in a while, like, hey, like, we don't have enough work for you this time, like, this week. Like, they're liable to get sued. Be like, oh, like, I'm your employee and you're, like, sending me home. You have to pay for my stuff now.
Do you think lawyers could sue their clients for household expenses because they had to work from home on their cases?
Dude, that would be trippy.
You just get a call from your lawyer, like, remember when I defended you last year in that
Amazon trial?
in that trial about the whatever you were on trial for? You'd be like, yeah, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna need you to pay my my electric bill for that period of time
Yeah. Because I had to work
because I had to work from home. COVID. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. Speaking
Shouldn't have broke the law.
Speaking of lawsuits, I wasn't planning on talking about this, but over the last week, the end of last week, what's his name? I just lost his name. Johnny Depp.
Oh,
Johnny Depp won
I
pretty
was
big.
just gonna say a random name, and the first name that came to mind was Kareem.
Kareem.
Yeah.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, he was a basketball player. Anyways, Johnny Depp.
Yeah, Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp won pretty big.
Yeah.
He gets to walk home with about $8.5
Well,
million.
he's not gonna walk home with any millions of dollars because
Right.
Amber Heard is like broke as a joke.
Yeah, but like he's winning.
I think that what he really won was the ability to tell his story
Yeah.
and the ability to be kind of like vindicated, so to speak, so that
Yeah.
people know, hey, he's not an abuser.
Yeah,
So.
and like we said before in the show, that cases,
I should say he's not a domestic abuser.
court cases set precedents, and this is a good precedent that it's not only men that abuse.
Right.
Right. So like there are female that abuse their companions,
Yep.
and there's consequences for that as well. So that's a good win for the justice
There
system.
hasn't been up to this point, but hopefully now there will be.
Yeah. Right.
Mhm.
So
Right.
So,
Good
yeah.
stuff.
yeah. So I know we're kind of all over the place. Like I said, we took a week off.
It's
So
like scrambled eggs
yeah,
up
it's
in
like
here.
scrambled eggs. But back
Add some cheese to this thing.
coming back to New York. So it's just that those bills are just awaiting to be signed by Hochul, so they'll be signed into law.
Mhm.
But there is some light at the end of the tunnel. We hope that the Supreme Court has
Death?
death and destruction at the
Death. You can die and finally live in a free place.
Yeah. The Supreme Court of the United States has a court case in front of them right now about New York's pistol permits.
Mm-hmm.
And there's supposed to be a decision coming up soon about that.
So what would that do? What would this bill do?
So, this ruling would, if they rule in favor of the people suing the state,
Mm-hmm.
which is like a couple of guys in the NRA are suing the state for basically New York. In New York, the law states that you have to provide a need to have a pistol permit in order to
Mhm.
conceal carry. So the case right now is saying that that's unconstitutional. Like,
Which it is.
New York is a may issue, or instead of a shall issue, it's a may issue.
I think even the permit itself is unconstitutional.
Right. Yeah, that's a discussion that that a lot of people can make the argument for, that having to have a pistol permit to carry a firearm in itself is unconstitutional.
Right.
But New York, in places like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, they take it a step further, and they say that we're not going to give you that concealed carry permit if you don't meet these certain standards. If we think that you don't need it,
Mhm.
or if we think that your day-to-day life does not constitute, lack of a better term, does not deem the need for you to have it, then we're not going to give it to you. So, if the Supreme Court rules in favor of those who brought the case, then New York would have to just give pistol permits to anybody who wants them, basically.
If that's the case, I'm going to apply for a pistol permit, and I'm going to get one of those really long guns like Rick Grimes has in The Walking Dead, and I'm going to learn how to twirl it on my finger and then holster it.
Yeah.
And every time I do that, there's going to be that music in the background that's like meow or whatever, like the old from the old westerns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So,
You think I could get like something like a button or something that I could just like click every time I twirl it and holster it? Like I could click the button, it would play the music. Like maybe like on my phone or something.
You know, you can't brandish your weapon though in New York. Like you can get in trouble for doing that. Or just
Well, I'm not gonna do it in like a Walmart.
well, where did you do it?
Just like in front of the mirror.
In front of the in front of the mirror. You can do that now. Dad has revolvers downstairs. You can just.
I don't have no. Like I need a big one.
Yeah,
I need a
big
Rick
one?
Grimes one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
38.
the
38
thing is, like,
special,
as long as your shin.
extra long barrel. I don't know. That's a long barrel, man.
Have you ever seen his gun?
Yeah,
It's huge.
saw his gun.
I want 2 of them.
Yeah. You want to be Yosemite Sam?
Yeah. And I would just be like, you would just come home from work all the time, and then you would walk up, and then you'd just see me in front of the mirror, like just twirling my weapons whoosh, and hitting the button, and then like you would be like, "What are you doing?" And I'd be like, "Oh hey,
Yeah.
nothing. I was cleaning the mirror."
Nice. Yeah. Oh man, what an episode! We're on our first story. 25 minutes in.
No, we're on a second story.
Second, yeah.
The Supreme Court.
Yeah. Supreme Court, yeah. So hopefully we get that decision soon, and hopefully New York has to start allowing pistol permits. So like this wouldn't necessarily supersede the bills that have been coming forth by Hochul, but at least them like trying to prevent the sales of especially semi-automatic rifles, what they call assault weapons, AR-15s. It wouldn't really do much that you have to have a permit, because then they would have to give the permit to anybody who wants it.
It's really a stupid question anyway. Like what is your need for like what
Who
is
cares?
anybody
What is your
like what is
business?
anybody's need though other than self-defense? Like what would you need a weapon for other than self-defense? To
Yeah.
look cool? Like what are you going to put down? Like I don't want to look cool in front of my friends.
Yeah.
Like, I want to shoot cats in my backyard.
Yeah.
Like what are you going to put down for an excuse? You know
In
what I mean?
fact,
Other than self-defense.
it's weird because it's so contradicting. Where like I think of the story where Ben Shapiro famously said that he was rejected in California for getting a pistol permit because there was somebody that actually threatened his life that wanted to kill him, and they would stalk him and his family. So when he put that down in his application, and then since then, like before he was denied his pistol permit, the person got caught and then was thrown in jail. They denied his pistol permit because like he was no longer being threatened. He was no longer being chased. And, like to me, that's so like counteractive, like counterproductive. Because
you would want to wait until after Ben Shapiro gets murdered by a stalker before issuing him a pistol permit for self-defense.
But and then there's the other side of that where it's like, okay, so you're saying a prudent, well put together person is not going to take precaution, is not going to take preventative measures. They're just going to wait until they get into a situation where somebody's stalking them, then they run for a gun. Yeah. Like to me, that is the opposite of being a prudent person. You know what I mean? It's counterproductive. So you're saying I have to wait to get somebody so mad at me that they want to kill me for me to justify having a gun. Like to me, that's not why I want a gun. I don't want a gun to shoot somebody.
Maybe that's how you could get your permit approved though. Like if I threaten to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
And then you say that like there's a danger, like you have like there's a danger to your life.
But the California is literally saying that, oh, you want a gun to protect yourself just in case there's a situation? No. Oh, you want a gun because you want to shoot somebody that's threatening you? Oh yeah, sure. Here, have a gun. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so stupid. Well, anyways.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Get out California, New York.
Yeah. Hopefully the Supreme Court puts a good ruling on that. So. But anyways, so you might not be super upset. Like if you're not a gun person, you might not be like, okay, like yeah, this kind of sucks, but I don't really care about body armor. I don't really care about owning an AR-15. Like I'm fine, you know. Pistol, I already have my pistol. I don't care about that micro stamping thing. I don't plan on buying another pistol.
Yeah. Look, I have an airsoft gun, so I don't mind.
If you're one of those people that don't care about guns, yeah, that's fine. But let me tell you what this leads to. This leads to Canada. And Canada, we always look to Canada as what comes next in the United States, because it seems like that's where it's trending, right? So like before, like you couldn't
That like Australia. Can I just say like a little funny? You know, Australia did its gun ban like a few years ago, and I read this article the other day, and it's like America should follow in Australia's footsteps because suicides by gun have been down in Australia since the gun ban. It's like, oh no, duh. Like, it was the dumbest thing I ever heard. Like, you can't commit suicide any other way besides like a handgun or something. So if you ban all the guns,
dude,
nobody commits suicide.
Everybody knows that the gun is what makes you commit suicide. It talks to you. It gets in your head.
Like suicides by gun have been down since the banning. Oh wow. Y'all straight geniuses. And then next, like, they have a bill going before the government right now to ban ropes. Oop, too far.
What are you doing this episode, bro? Holy cow!
I don't know. I'm really tired because we keep staying up. The Mets are playing in California right now, so the games are lasting until like almost 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So I've gotten like 3 or 4 hours of sleep every night all week.
It's more
Well,
like
not all week.
1 a.m.
Like for the last 3 days, I've gotten like 3 or 4 hours of sleep.
All right. Let's get back on track here. We got a couple more stories to cover so we can get these people out of here.
You didn't like that rope banning joke?
It's fine. It's fine. All right. So, anyways, as I was saying, you don't care about guns. You don't care about this package that's being passed. But what you should care about is our freedom and the constitutional right to carry a gun. And these kinds of things, these kinds of bills lead to what Canada is doing now. So Canada has had restrictions on guns for a long time, much like the restrictions that are happening in New York now. And now, see, like this is what happens when we make legislation in reaction to a catastrophe, right? So like the catastrophe happens in Buffalo. We make legislation to try to quote unquote prevent it. It's not going to work. There's going to be as much as I don't want there to be, there's going to be another mass shooting in New York. So what comes next? They keep going after the guns, until you get something like Canada, which now, according to the New York Times, they plan on to ban handgun sales and possession of assault weapons. So there's no longer purchasing or selling of handguns in Canada. Justin Trudeau, quote from him, says, "We are capping the number of handguns in this country." So handgun sales have been banned, and there's an assault weapons law that is going to restrict people from buying AR-15s and assault weapons, and there's a mandatory buyback program in Canada. Why are you staring at me?
Do you know what an assault weapon is? Do you know what an assault weapon is?
Anything that goes pew pew.
It's the guns that turned around and looked at Sodom and Gomorrah.
What?
Assault.
Is that why you were staring at me that whole time? You were waiting for an opportunity to say that?
Assault weapon.
Oh man.
One day you're gonna find a new host.
And that day is going to be tomorrow, I think.
Now taking interviews, co-host.
All right, well, moving on, I guess. You got nothing to say about that?
I mean, like, I feel like you said it all. That's what leads to that. You have Australia set the example. Canada's following in its footsteps, and the U.S. will be right behind them. The only difference is that in the U.S. we have a very it's very like ingrained in our system, the freedom to own guns, and so if they were to try this in America, it would literally lead to a civil war. Right. That's why they're doing it in steps.
In steps, yeah, right. Yep.
Because if they just like came out and like Canada and they're like, you know what, we're just gonna ban all assault weapons and limit the sales of and halt the sales of handguns and all that, people would just go ballistic.
Yeah.
It would not just be like storming the Capitol.
Right. Right.
I mean, what did they call that?
The insurrection.
The insurrection. It would not be an insurrection where they're allowed to come into the Capitol and escorted in by Capitol Police.
Little dig there.
Little dig.
Yeah, but
oh my gosh! Speaking of dig, I don't really know what this has to dig. But did you hear that? Did you see that? Did you see that Nancy? Did you see that Nancy Pelosi's husband got arrested for drunk driving?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
That it literally has nothing to do with the dig.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about a little dig at Nancy Pelosi with the insurrection thing, and then my brain just like skipped a bunch of steps in connection.
Yeah, I feel like your brain is skipping a lot of things. I'm glad you're still breathing.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard. I have to remind myself.
Yeah,
I feel like SpongeBob in that episode where he goes into Sandy's.
Yeah. Yeah. So, luckily, our founding fathers were not idiots and saw that there would be idiots in the future, leading our country.
Don't you think Aaron Burr was he would be considered a founding father, right?
Aaron Burr?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Really? You don't think so?
No.
Because I feel like Aaron Burr was an idiot.
Yeah.
He was a vice president. How could he not? He was the third vice president. How could he not be considered a founding father?
Yeah, he's not considered a founding father.
What do you think consists of a founding father?
Those who drafted the Declaration of Independence, those who made laws, the Federalist Papers.
They're the people who led the War of Independence. Founding fathers of the United States are something the founding fathers or founders or a group of American revolutionary leaders who united the 13 colonies, led the war for independence from Great Britain, and built the frame of government for the new United States of America during the later decades of the 18th century.
Yeah, Aaron Burr did not.
Burr was involved in that whole scene, right?
No, he wasn't. He didn't do anything in government. He was like a senator, but like he wasn't part of the framing. So like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, and James Madison are considered the founding fathers. He fought in the Revolutionary War, but tons of people fought in the Revolutionary War.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I always kind of considered everybody who was all involved in that whole thing was like considered like a founding father.
No, I feel like
anybody who was like kind of like
a founding
mainstream
father
during the first few presidencies and like establishing America.
I feel like you'd have to contribute because Aaron Burr didn't come up with like any
government
like thing that like we do to like, for example, Alexander Hamilton.
He did. He established door to door. He established the door to door campaigning.
Yeah.
That Aaron Burr originated that.
Yeah.
He
You
also
consider that a good thing?
He also originated the murder of Alexander Hamilton.
Okay. He was known for wanting to start his own country. Like he basically committed treason. So I don't know if you could call Aaron Burr founding father.
Yeah, but that wasn't until later.
I guess
that wasn't until later when he ruined his entire political career.
Yeah.
By shooting Alexander Hamilton. A founding father.
You know, why don't we just go on the tangent? You know, I was reading or watching reading some of the Federalist Papers, and I was watching a video with Ben Shapiro and Michael Knowles talking about the Federalist Papers. It was a PragerU video. It's pretty good.
I've never read them. Does that make me un-American? Probably.
No, not necessarily, but they are difficult to read sometimes, so you might have to like read like a commentary or watch videos.
Did you get the ebook or whatever where it reads it to you?
I did get an ebook, yes.
But did it read it to you?
I don't know if it's an audiobook.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Did you get the audiobook?
I don't know if there's audio on it. I don't know. But anyway, so it was very interesting talking about the framework of the Constitution and how it's made to be gridlocked. It's made so that it's very difficult to actually implement change.
Mm-hmm.
And people think like that's like a flaw in our system, but it's not a bug. It's actually the actual framework, and it's the purpose. It's the feature of our American system.
It's so that crazy people like Nancy Pelosi can't just change the law whenever she flipping feels like it.
Right, and that's why we still have at least some freedom here in New York, is because we have that framework, and why things in Ohio are happening, which I'm really happy to talk about. As Ohio bill got passed, and it's just on the governor's desk waiting to be signed. They're allowing staff to carry guns in school, and
Hallelujah.
yeah, and with reduced training too. So like, typically in the state of Ohio for like law enforcement stuff like that, they have to go through like 737 hours of peace officer training.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's it's pretty crazy.
That's a lot.
But this bill allows them to bypass that. So like teachers and staff have to go through a 24-hour period. Schools are able. I don't really like this about the bill, but schools are allowed to make it more than that, which I think can be good
So
or
you
bad.
have a school that's like,
Yeah, a school.
we're gonna make ours like 7,000 hours of
7,000
peace
hours.
officer training.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I think that some liberal schools are gonna do, is like
Yeah.
make it almost impossible.
And then like every sensible person
Yeah.
is gonna move out of that school district.
All right.
And
Yeah.
they're gonna end up with like 14 kids.
Yeah.
They'll be able to do like a 1-room school.
But then they'll still get the budget because there's no school choice.
Yeah, but they'll only have a school budget for 14 kids because
Yeah.
it'll be a 1-room schoolhouse. You'll have like literally the teacher wearing like a skirt, and she'll be standing out front with a bell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So the teachers who want to carry, they have to go through 18 hours of general training, 2 hours of handgun training, 2 additional hours of general training, and 2 additional hours of handgun training. So I think that this is, if you were going to make a legislative response to the shootings that have been happening, especially in the schools, this is the way to go.
Do you think general training means they're going to be trained as like Army generals, or like it's like
general training.
yeah? I'm just kidding. No, I think that this is really cool. I do. I mean, I think that like obviously there should be it's going to be yearly training, right? Like they would have to do yearly training, or is this just one-time training? Because I definitely think that there should be.
No, I don't think
It should be like
I
every.
don't think this is yearly.
So yeah, I think that there should definitely be like yearly training, because it's really easy to forget how to do stuff when you're not doing it regularly, and nobody is going to be using their handguns on school property regularly.
No, but I would think that it would be cool, because you know how you do drills with like fire drills, like those who like in Florida they do like hurricane drills in schools.
Mm-hmm.
They should do a school shooter drill in schools. So like
Yeah.
teachers who carry would get like, I don't know, like either like a paintball gun or like a gun, like a laser gun, and like they would practice.
A paintball gun.
Yeah, like they would practice having like an active shooter in school. Like I feel like that would be a great training exercise.
You can have that one teacher that's going to get really mad at Timmy because he won't stop shooting spit wads at the front. He's going to take his paintball gun out.
Yeah.
Ting ting.
Yeah. And those who are
I'm just kidding.
those who play
Nobody's gonna do
paintball are like trying to make fun of me and saying like, "Oh, paintball is not like a real gun," but they do have training pistols that shoot paintballs. So that's what I'm talking about. There's our training pistols that shoot non-lethal projectiles. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like an actual paintball gun where you have to put the paintballs in the hopper.
They have like the ones that shoot the the bean bags too.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this is headed in the right direction. I think legislation typically should, if there's going to be a restriction on something, then that legislation needs to really be thought out. If there's going to be something that allows a freedom, then like I'm more open to that legislation. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like this legislation expands the right to own a gun. It doesn't restrict.
Yeah.
It expands. And then of course there's connotations that come with it. There needs to be training involved and stuff like that. That's common sense.
Yeah, and they're not gonna. It's not like they're gonna force. Like they're not gonna force
Yeah.
teachers to have a. You're not gonna get like anti-gun Sally in there is
Right.
gonna be like, and now I'm being forced to carry a weapon of death and harm
Yeah.
or something. As she like cries on her public forum.
Right.
Her Instagram.
Reminds me of
Where
that.
she like poses with like tears running down her face.
Reminds me of that one. I think it was CNN. There was like a reporter that shot an AR and never shot a gun before.
And he starts crying.
He starts crying.
Yeah. And have you ever seen the one where they edited it together with like the like 6 or 7-year-old girl who's like he like shoots it and he's like ah, and then like it clips to the girl who's like 7 and she's like got a handgun and she's like bam 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 like hitting the target every time.
Nice.
It's so funny.
That's funny.
Yeah. It is pretty funny.
But yeah. So we got. Dang, we're already 45 minutes in, but I want to talk about we have a for the entertainment segment. We haven't done a for the entertainment in a long time.
Oh yeah, I forgot you said you were gonna do that.
Yeah. So the Obi-Wan series is out.
The Obi-Wan?
Obi-Wan.
Or Obi-Wan.
What did I say? Obi-Wan?
It sounded like you said Obi-Wan.
Oh no, Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan. Best Buy. That was an inside joke of those family who are watching.
I think they really failed in naming the show Obi-Wan. It definitely should have been called Just Ben.
Oh yeah. Ben.
Yeah. Just Ben.
Just Ben.
Just Ben.
Like actually just Ben.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So the Obi-Wan Kenobi series is now released on Disney Plus, and we got 3 episodes.
Yep.
A lot of controversy stemming around it, specifically with the villain Reva. Yep. She is an Inquisitor who hunts Jedi. She has a vendetta against Obi-Wan Kenobi, and so she comes up with a concoction in order to lure Obi-Wan Kenobi. And a lot of people.
No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers. A lot of people are not liking it. A lot of people are not liking her character. They've been open about it. Some people have actually sent the actress racist comments, which has led to this whole controversy. Star Wars posting out a tweet saying that there are over 20 million sentient beings in the Star Wars universe. Don't be racist. Which I definitely think that we have a duty to call out racism as we see it. But when we start generalizing criticism, when we start grouping a whole bunch of people with a select few, I think that's when we can get into some dangerous waters. So I personally don't really like the character. I personally don't like the attributes of the character. I think that she's very like thuggish, not very disciplined, or someone who is an Inquisitor who hunts Jedi. It seems to be the evidence is that she was taken from the Jedi Temple, so she was being trained as a Jedi. We don't know that for sure.
This feeling spoilers.
What?
This is what you're. Some of the things you're sharing is feeling like spoilers. I think
no. If you're a Star Wars fan, you know the Inquisitors.
Yeah, but you saying that like it feels like she might have been taken from the Jedi. That's speculation according to what you're seeing in the show. So I think you're you're headed into spoiler territory.
I'm heading into spoiler territory.
I think you should be careful.
I don't think I've reached that line, but I see what you're saying. I'm headed into that. So no spoilers. But so like it just seems like her actions don't really line up to what her character should be. In fact, it seems more like trying to appeal to like an urban type of feel, or like it's like thuggish, like gangster kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
I compared her, and I think it was a good comparison. I feel she feels very similar to the villain in the Black Panther, the cousin or whatever who turns into the bad guy.
Yeah.
He gets like raised in like I don't know Brooklyn or something. I don't really remember because my attention span for Marvel movies is like very small, but like her character feels very much like his character, like in like behavior and actions, like has like a chip on their shoulder and is reacting with all of their reactions are like a result of the chip on their shoulder for whatever the chip is. I don't know. And I think also like there's a lot of people who don't really care for the actress's acting. In my opinion, it's not very believable. I don't think it's good acting, and I don't think it's a well written character. So when you combine a poorly written character,
and it even might not be the actress herself, you know what I mean? It's just the way that her character is written and the way that she acts is so disconnected from the Star Wars universe.
I mean, like there's no chemistry between the character and the actress, and then the Star Wars universe. Yeah, I could get on board with that. I think, they tried to do the same thing with the character of Finn in 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen that, then too bad because it's been out for like 7 years. So, but his character, in my opinion, was like just very boring. And I know that's a controversial thing to say because there's a lot of people who just really liked him and were like, we want a Finn story and like he's Force sensitive and we should get to see more of him and blah blah blah. I honestly thought that especially his like the big climax of episode 8 where he goes to whatever world with Rose to find the lock picking guy or whatever, the key master or whatever he was. You know, when that whole thing, the whole storyline is like, oh my gosh, put you to sleep. Like if you're having insomnia, just watch that. Because you'll be boom right to sleep. It's so boring. It's awful. I think it's really bad. But I don't think that the acting. I don't think the acting is bad. I think he does well in his acting. I don't remember his name. Do you remember his name? I can't remember his name.
John Boyega, you're talking about?
Yes. So he plays the role well. I just don't think the role was well written. So they tried to do that kind of thing, like with like Disney tried to do that before and say like, oh, stop being racist. Like his character's great. Like no, his character's not great. It's super boring.
I feel like this with Reva's character, it takes it a step further, and it's like they took a character from like Luke Cage or something, or like a black show, like a BET show, and they like put it into Star Wars.
Right.
They're trying to appeal to like
authentic.
an urban like fan base.
Yeah.
And there's nothing there. I'm sorry, but call me racist, but I'm not racist. But there's no place for that in the Star Wars universe. Like that's not what Star Wars is.
At least with Inquisitor. I mean, at least with the Inquisitors.
Right. If you want to take like a gain from like Coruscant or something, like an urban city, a planet that's literally the whole planet is a city.
Right.
If you want to talk about like gang violence in there, if you want to make it like really urban, that would be cool.
Yeah, it's like I feel like they tried to do the same thing with the biker gang in
the Book of Boba.
The Book of Boba, yes.
Yeah.
The Book of Boba Fett. Like they tried to do that same thing with the motorcycle gang, and that's where they lost me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Right.
So Disney needs to stop excusing their poor writing by placing it on the fan base for not liking it by saying like it's some sort of like racism or something like that, because there are other characters in the Star Wars universe that are not white characters that people love, like Poe Dameron, for instance, is a well-loved character. I think Oscar Isaac is like one of the best actors in the Star Wars universe. Like, I mean, hands down, he's fantastic. And the character is well written. Like the character is relatable. When he even like he does things that end up screwing stuff up, but you're relating to the character. You're like understanding where his actions are coming from, where the frustrations are coming from. You know, you relate to that. Where like you don't. I feel like this villain is not relatable, at least, and maybe it'll get better because we're only 3 episodes in. Maybe it will get better, but I just right now it's not a good storyline, and Disney needs to stop writing bad characters and then trying to excuse their bad writing by blaming it on people being racist.
Right, and the card playing social justice warrior by Disney does not sit well with me, and does not, and by their own actions is not going to play favorable in the future for them because they have compromise their justice
for China.
So like it was, I don't know if you remember, but in 2015 when The Force Awakens came out, talking about Finn, in the US poster, front and center, you could see him right behind Rey with his lightsaber in all of his glory. The Chinese poster, he's in the background, like you can barely see him. You can just see like his lightsaber.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but if you're going to play social justice warrior, especially in the card of race, and then you're going to compromise putting...
I think Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
She's another character that's not white, correct? But is very beloved by the Star Wars universe. She's the one with the blue...
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the blue ear hairs things. Whatever those are. I'm not sure what the horns.
It's because...
Tusks.
It's because she wasn't black in the show. Because she was blue.
She's blue in the show?
Well, I mean, she's like blue, got blue facial features, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, she's not.
Yeah.
In the cartoon?
I'd say Ahsoka.
Not the band.
Ahsoka. Or like white.
No, she's not.
She's got like the white.
Oh, like the white markings.
She's not like actual. Like,
but yeah, she's not blue. She's tan.
Yeah, she's like tan. But yeah, I mean,
because Rosario, that's what it is. Rosario Dawson plays her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that Disney needs to stop with this racism crap, because if we're being honest, who in their right mind liked Rey? Okay.
I like Rey.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, the trilogy has a lot of
They
problems.
they tried to be like really cool and be like, oh yeah, everybody loves Leia. Let's make Rey. And it's like, ugh. The worst.
I like Rey.
Those 3 movies are
I
terrible.
think Daisy really did great.
I think episode 7 is arguably the best of the 3 because it was before they really really screwed it up. But honestly, Rey's character has nothing interesting happen for the rest of the trilogy. There's literally nothing interesting about her character. Yeah. And then she gets to the very end, like, what's your name? This random person who just sees her in the desert, because that's like how people are in Tatooine, apparently. Not true in anything else that we've seen Tatooine, but she's just walking around the desert of Tatooine, burying lightsabers like a cool mother licker, and she just like stands up, like, what's your name? Rey Skywalker. Okay. Kill me now. Glad I just wasted my life watching that thing. It was terrible. So yeah. Just bad Disney writing. Disney quit being lazy.
So what's your rec?
What's my rec? My rec this week is Stranger Things.
Oh, another show that dropped. Netflix season 4, Stranger Things.
Yep. Yeah,
we've watched 3 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch more.
7 of this first half. We would already have them watched, except we had 3 birthdays, family up, and Memorial Day last weekend. So it was a very busy weekend for us. So we didn't get to watch it. And then of course we've been watching our Mets games every night. So between like the Mets and golfing for you and all of the festivities that we've had going on, we have not been able to really binge watch it. So we have watched 3 episodes so far. It's been pretty decent. I think one of the critiques I would have for it is that they do not look like teenagers anymore, especially the sister. The annoying sister. I never remember
Mike's
her
sister,
name.
Right?
Mike's sister, because she's so annoying.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I spent I would say probably the first 3 seasons wondering if she was attractive or not, and season 4 has confirmed it that she's not.
Yeah, one of the things I really hated is that they've always made her eyelashes she has like spider lashes, and any girl out there who knows mascara is going to know exactly what I'm talking about, but she has spider lashes, so they're like very just mascara is just chunked on, and they're so long, and it's very distracting in the first couple seasons, but like she does not at all look like a high school senior. Like she looks like she's like 30, and so it's definitely it takes away from a little bit from the realism of the show. I think the other ones can still. Like, I feel like you could pass the other ones as high school seniors, and they're supposed to be like freshmen. Yeah. They're supposed to be like freshmen now. They look like maybe you could pass them off as high school seniors. And then the high school senior that they have, it looks like she's 30. So that's the only, I think, critique about it. But that's kind of not really their fault, because these, 2020 and the pandemic happened, and this season arguably should have been filmed 2 years ago. So we would have had some younger kids there. So that's really my only critique so far. But so far it's been interesting.
Yeah, it's been awesome, I think. I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, I haven't been like distracted or like I've been able to focus on it, which is pretty rare for me in television.
I think one of the things that Stranger Things has done really well is that each season has been able to tell its own story, and it keeps it fresh.
Right.
Even though like it's all like the same over. I think Stranger Things, to actually finish a thought, because I've had trouble finishing thoughts today, but I think Stranger Things is arguably one of the best shows that you know the least about.
Yeah.
So like you literally, season 4, you have no idea really what's going on with the upside down, things like that, the extraterrestrial things, the supernatural things that's been happening. You really have no idea, but it's so good because of the character development, because of the situations they find themselves in, and just the crazy things that happen. I think it's just it just keeps you in it, and they know how to spice it up. They know how to keep it fresh, while still keeping the characters intact that you love. So I think Stranger Things has done a really good job at that. The writing is fantastic, I think. So
Yeah, I'm really I'm interested to see the rest of the half season that we have out now, and then of course the second part of the season comes out I think in July. So I'm pretty interested in all of that. The episodes are longer; they're kind of like mini movies at this point, which I know there's a lot of people who don't like that, but I actually
like
do like it. I like to have the episodes a little longer because I'm like sitting down investing my time like in the show, and
it allows for better writing too.
Yeah,
because if you're confined with 42 minutes or 45 minutes, like it's hard for us to do.
Right.
you kind of either
you
have to
compress everything
down.
down.
Some things some things suffer. So
yeah, and the thing is, the great thing about it being like kind of in mini movie form is that if you want to sit down and actually watch something that's a little longer than say like a half-hour episode of something, or like a 45-minute episode of something, but you don't want to sit down and commit to like a 2.5-hour movie, it's like this nice compromise because it's like it's just over an hour long per episode, so you have like this nice compromise as far as like the episode length goes. So I actually really like it, and I'm excited to see. I'm just hoping, fingers crossed, that they don't go woke.
Yeah.
I've seen just a touch, just a hair. There's a little bit of focus on sexuality in the beginning of this season, and so I'm kind of hoping that levels off and that nobody cares anymore. So, and we can just get to like the nitty gritty of the characters versus.
I feel like they've done a good job of like, being sensitive to all different kinds of lifestyles without being overbearing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
So that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping it doesn't get to that. I'm hoping it doesn't go into that point.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yep.
All
Good
right.
times.
Yeah. Good times.
What's your rec?
Oh, my rec. Yeah. That we did your rec. So my rec is a short film from Messenger Studios. That's John and Lisa Bevere's ministry. From Messenger Studios is the Love You're Looking For. It's a short film written by their son Alec Bevere. And it's a short film about abortion. About
Spoilers. I didn't know that's what it was about.
Yeah. Well, no, that's what they are.
Hashtag choose life. I was kind of guessing that's what it was about.
Yeah, it's about abortion. I don't want to say too much about it because I don't want to spoil anything.
Don't say anything else. Just say watch it.
But it's only 6 minutes and 53 seconds long. Doesn't matter if you're pro-life, pro-choice. If you have any value to human life whatsoever, you are going to cry. This will make you cry. I will say that. And
I haven't watched it yet, so I'm interested to see if it actually makes me cry.
You will cry.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I watched something that has actually like made a tear fall down from my face, and this did in 6 minutes and 53 seconds. Pretty crazy. Pretty intense.
The only thing I can think of that's made you cry faster is when you step on the scale.
And on that note, we're out of here. We'll see you guys next week.